is the 77 WABC minicast.
I do want to go to Israel. JNS.org is my source for all my information. Israel. Now, I'm biased because I've now been to Israel 3 times since the war started in 2023. And on all 3 occasions, I did my shows live from JNS.org. Actually, the last time I didn't. They just moved to the brand new studios in Jerusalem, but we did all those shows from the road. But I see Alex Traiman every trip. Last time I was there, he bestowed this huge honor upon me. I got to speak at the very first ever JNS.org International Policy Summit in the very last block with people like Mark Levin and Mike Huckabee and Morton Klein and Ron Dermer. I know I'm missing a whole bunch of people, Victoria Coates and all these amazing folks. It was great, and they're doing it again this year in April, but I got to tell you, between the DHS issue here, which is now a TSA issue in America, and missiles still being fired at Israel, I'm supposed to be there on or about April the 12th. And I know I got your email a couple of days, Alex, that you got over 200 people coming and speakers, and, you know, it's going to happen. You're excited. But on a reality front, it's becoming increasingly difficult for people who don't live in Tel Aviv to get to Jerusalem. You do understand that, yes?
Oh, yeah. Great to see you, Sid. Thanks for having me. We're looking closely at it. We have some potential backup dates that we're already considering, and we'll see. You know, in the next couple of days, we'll take a decision. Obviously, we'd like to do it as soon as possible. We think that the timing couldn't be better, in a sense, for some critical discussions on, you know, reshaping Israel and the entire Middle East. But if we have to push it back a few weeks, that's what we'll do.
Well, how dangerous is it there? I know that it was about 2 weeks ago when Iran said, yeah, we fired up Ben Gurion Airport. I don't know how often you guys are closing that, or I should know better. I don't. I apologize. How often you guys are still running back and forth into those bomb shelters. I mean, I'm reading and watching people dying still. 2 yesterday. Trey Yinks is out there every day. So it doesn't seem like, even though President Trump is talking about winding this war down, it doesn't seem like for you guys in Israel it's winding down, or is it?
Well, Iran's definitely firing ballistic missiles at Israel multiple times a day. Some of these are hypersonic missiles. Many of these, at least half of them, they're assessing are cluster bombs, which means that they really can bypass the intercepts because they open up before they hit the ground, and then they send, in some cases, dozens of munitions down that can spread out over a territory of several miles. It's really a war crime. They're specifically targeting the civilian population centers. These aren't meant to hit a military target at all. They're meant to spray over an entire population center. We saw this elderly couple you mentioned just before the break was killed trying to get to the bomb shelter last night. We personally in Jerusalem went twice into the bomb shelters last night, and we've been getting much less sirens in Jerusalem than they're getting in Tel Aviv. And then in addition to the fire from Iran, we're getting fired upon by Hezbollah in Lebanon. Last night they sent in several dozen rockets at Israel almost simultaneously. I think they were basically all intercepted or mostly intercepted. The Israeli missile defense system and also the alert system is really, second to none. We've got the best missile defense in the entire world. And also we get these alerts in advance. The radar systems are detecting the volleys, and you get a first early alert as they've detected a volley, and then you get a later alert to tell you if that missile is going towards your specific area. And the whole country is broken down into about 600 different areas, and that's how specific it is. They tell you to get into the bomb shelter. You stay in the bomb shelter until those missiles are intercepted overhead, or God forbid if they hit the ground. And then you're alerted that the incident is over and you're able to leave the shelter. So right now, Israelis going in and out of the shelters. Kids are obviously home from school, but in between all these trips to the shelter, people are trying to do their work, live their lives. It's amazing and surreal, the situation to be an Israeli right now.
Well, you guys are the best people in the world. I mean that sincerely. You're amazing. I mean, you may just be crazy too. I don't know. There's some of that.
Definitely resilient.
Right. Yeah, definitely resilient. So how long have the kids been out of school?
since the beginning of the war. It started on Saturday, February 27th.
Right. So right. Today is day 19. So for those 19 days, the kids have not gone to school.
Kids have not gone to school. They do classes on Zoom, so everybody's on tablets and computers. And I've got 5 kids at home, from university down to grade school, and they're all in a different room on Zoom classes. It's hard for them, I'll tell you, to sit in front of Zooms for many hours a day. And then also you're getting disturbed in the night. You don't get a good night's sleep because they're firing missiles at night too. So it's tough on the kids, but we try to keep it as regulated as possible and keep it as lighthearted as possible.
See, to me, this is the most fascinating part of the war, to speak to somebody who lives there like you. You happen to be a dear friend of mine. You're a relative at this point. Danielle and I love you and Sippy, but the everyday life, the kids are all home. There's no school. Do you guys go out? Do you go out for dinner? Is there any real social life? Or do you try to stay in that apartment by your bomb shelter as much as possible?
Well, I would say that people in Tel Aviv and Haifa areas, really have to stay close to bomb shelters because they're getting pummeled, a lot more often than we are in Jerusalem. Even though we're going into the bomb shelters, I would say on average at least 3 times a day, and that's where it's quieter. Listen, we try to go out. We try to go to the stores, do what we need to do. People need to get out a little bit to air out, and we try to do that as much as we can.
I mean, if you figure on a Wednesday or a Thursday, I know that I've been to your home for Shabbos. What a beautiful meal Sippy makes. I don't know how long in advance you guys get ready for that, but you have to go, at the very least, Shabbat shopping every month, and Passover's right around the corner.
Yeah, we're going out every day. I mean, I'm going from home to work. Obviously, we're running a media operation over here, so work is critical right now. And Tzippi is going out to the store almost daily basis, buying whatever we need.
Okay,
we actually held an open house in our home last night for kids and parents that are going to send their kids to a camp that my kids have been going to in the Golan Heights in the north of Israel. And people came over last night. And if the sirens would go off, everybody would just go into the safe room for a few minutes, and then you kind of resume what you got to do.
How many people does your safe room hold?
It's just a bedroom. I think we could probably stuff 15 people into there if we had to. There's been many, many nights where there's been 7 of us, trying to lie down on 3 mattresses that are in there right now. Not kick each other in the face, until we're able to go out.
God bless you. All right, so you guys are living through all this. We see it here. We hear the sirens. We see Trey Yingst. We hear missile drops. But you guys are living through this every day. But you and I have had this conversation, and I really do believe in my heart of hearts, Alex, that you speak on behalf of the majority, maybe even the overwhelming majority of Israelis when I say that you'll take it. Going into the bomb shelters 2-3 times a day. It's been 19 days. Could be another 3 weeks, maybe longer. But you guys will take it with the hope that this Iran monster, this regime, is gone, and you guys could really move towards long-term peace, maybe even extending the Abraham Accords there in Israel. You'll take it. You'll take, as Trump talks about the economy, you'll take the short-term pain for what looks like will be long-term gain, yes?
Well, before October 7th, you had buildups of missiles and rockets in Gaza, in southern Lebanon, and we knew that Iran was racing towards nuclear weapons. And I think that most Israelis understood that there would be a war fought in the Middle East at some point.
And did you think, let me stop you right there. Did you think, though, before we get back to your point, talking about the nuclear weapons, did you think that if Iran got a nuclear weapon that unprovoked, they would just fire that at you guys?
I don't know if they would fire a nuclear weapon at us, because if they did, it's basically mutually assured destruction. Everybody understands that Israel has weapons that it doesn't talk about having, and certainly wouldn't just allow itself to be nuked. And I think the penalty for using a nuclear weapon by the United States or any other power that has one would be much to bear. But you talk about the deterrence that Iran was setting up just with the missiles that they had in Lebanon. If they were a nuclear power, if they had tested a nuclear weapon, and everybody understood that they could deliver a nuclear weapon, they're basically immune. right? You can't do anything to them at that point because you know that the second you do something that you're basically potentially unleashing a nuclear war. And as the president has said about Israel, Israel is a one-bomb country. A singular nuclear bomb dropped in Israel, could destroy the entire Jewish existence here. And Iran knows that. So for us, them having even one nuclear weapon is an existential threat. And you've seen what they've done to the entire region and how they've terrorized Israel before they got a nuclear weapon. I mean, they have literally themselves and their proxies, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, they have fired thousands upon thousands of rockets at Israel over the years. So again, I think everybody understood that this war was going to happen. The timing we weren't sure of. But once this war started, I think everybody in this country wants it to be a definitive war that will prevent a future war. They don't want to see some kind of another round of violence or an escalated round that leaves us in the position where we're now going to fight another round, potentially with an even stronger Iran several years from now. We see how weak the Iranian regime is. They are literally crumbling under the loss of their leaders, under the loss of the collapse of their economy, under the loss of their terror proxies, and we recognize that the time to completely change this regime and change the entire paradigm in the Middle East is now. So yes, are we willing and able to duck into the bomb shelters under the cover of the best missile defense system and alert system in the world? Yes, as long as our best Air Force in the world next to the United States are doing the job and will finish the job once and for all so we can usher in an era of peace in Israel and the entire region.